Welcome to the Iferia TechCast, where we bring you all things science, engineering, technology, and innovation. Today we are joined by Devin Sizemore, a business strategist and connection builder who has helped thousands of entrepreneurs expand their network and revenue. He is a strategic growth consultant, author of the Connection Expansion book, and creator of the Connection Expansion system, a proven, repeatable strategy for generating consistent inbound connections at scale. Devin also leads the ACES Connection Group, a fast-growing community of ambitious professionals who believe relationships drive results. So, Devin, welcome to the show. It's an honor to have you here today.
Thanks for having me. Been looking forward to it.
All right, let's dive in, Devin. You've built everything from a marketing agency to a cat cafe. So what was the common thread in all these ventures that led you to develop a systematic approach to networking and create the connection expansion system?
Yeah, so the system was built out of a need. And so with I call it my first big company was a digital marketing agency. And I found myself, like maybe some of your listeners, in a crowded marketplace with a lot of scarcity mindset competition and a very confused client. So the client didn't really know what they were buying. The competition was very aggressive. And I just found myself kind of on that rat wheel of go to networking events, try to figure out how to get people into sales meetings, figure out how to close people. And it just didn't feel right. It felt like the process was being forced. I didn't feel good doing it. And I noticed that the customers really, they didn't feel good either because it was a fast process. It wasn't slow. They weren't learning. And so I just started reverse engineering the system. And this is how I built it and how I've used it for all my companies is how do I go to a networking meeting and win? How do I have success at that meeting? What defines success and how do I have that? And then how do I succeed at every single step of the process, right? Getting them into a follow-up meeting, conducting a meeting, following up from that meeting, getting them into a sales meeting, winning at the sales meeting, onboarding them properly, keeping them forever, creating raving fans. And so over the years and with every company, I just dissect the client journey so I know how to support the client, but also the relationship journey, which is where I think people go wrong is they don't look at, well, what if this person isn't a client? What if they don't need my product or service? How can I still nurture that relationship to find podcast opportunities, events, sponsorships, partnerships, integrated offers, all these other things that could be available, but you're missing it because you're so focused on closing the next deal. That's how the system was born. And then over the last decade, it's just been refining the process and then adapting it for different industries.
All right. So, Devin, can you walk us through the core modules or components of your connection expansion system? So, how does it function as a predictable, repeatable framework for generating inbound opportunities?
Yeah. So the first thing I'll tell all the listeners is you've got to build templates and you've got to have a system. So for us, the whole system is built on using very simple email template language. So after a networking event, we use one email template to book meetings. After that meeting, we use one email template to follow up. To check in with you, we use one email template. And those templates over time, they do a few things. One, they allow us to adjust the language to get the best response, but it eliminates the friction people find themselves in when they're trying to figure out, well, how do I follow up with you? Because I don't really remember you and I want to make it custom. Do I need to do research in a deep dive? It starts to feel overwhelming. And so the first thing is have all the stuff templated so that you can follow up on purpose and quickly. And then the second thing is we abuse our CRM, our customer relationship manager. So making sure that all of those things are tracked so that I hold myself and my team accountable to making sure we are following up. I'll give you a really good example that your listeners could implement today, which is our check-in email. So everyone that's in our CRM gets the same email every 6 weeks. And the email says, the subject line is checking in. How are you doing? And this is the email template. Hey, Bob, I hope you're doing well and having a great day. It's been a while since we last connected. Anything new and exciting in your world? Any new challenges? Please let me know if there's any connections I can make for you. I look forward to hearing back from you. So with that email check-in, what we're doing is we are one-to-one re-engaging the people in our network that we've already earned trust with. And that allows us to have dialogue with them and share our wins as well. Typically, they'll reply and they'll say, hey, Devin, this is what's going on. This is exciting. This is what's great. How about you? That opens up the door for you as the person doing the check-in to be able to say, yeah, thanks for asking. All your stuff's amazing. You're a rock star. Congrats. Here's what I'm doing great. And now you can position them for either creating content or re-offer them whatever you're selling. But a lot of people miss that opportunity because they mass email through a newsletter instead of getting personal in that one-to-one touch.
Right. That was really insightful, Devin. So many technical professionals may see networking as random and unstructured. So how do you apply a systematic approach to building relationships, and what are the key metrics you track to measure the health of your network?
Yeah, when networking does feel very random. And unfortunately, you can't control the room and you can't control who shows up. What you can control is, are you there? Right. So are you willing to at least show up and attend either the virtual or in person networking? And then what you can control is how many people at the event can you talk to? And you can hold yourself accountable to that. So if you go to an event and there's 20 people, how many of the 20 people can you talk to in whatever the allotted time is? Or if it's a virtual event where maybe you're just going around the room getting to know everybody, are you taking a screenshot of everybody? Are you taking a screenshot of the attendee list so that you can control the follow up? Because now you have the names, you have photos. You can go on LinkedIn and send a message saying, hey, I didn't get to connect with you directly on the call. Would love to schedule a follow up call. So, my key advice when networking, especially if you're an introvert or you want more predictability, is control the parts you can control. So, get people's contact information because that enables you to follow up. If you're just giving out your information and hoping people are going to follow up, that's not a predictable strategy, right? That's a pray and hope.
Mm,
And typically, the only people that are going to follow up with you are trying to sell you something. They're not trying to build a relationship. So, whether it's virtual or in person, meet as many people as you can and get everybody's contact information. If you can't get their contact information, at least like right now, I could take a screenshot of me and you would have my face, you would have my name on the screen. And so that would be enough that you could then go to LinkedIn or Instagram or Facebook and find me, send me a message, or try to find my email and send me an email. Like it puts it in your control and then you can drop it into your follow up process. That's how you need to be networking. So if you go to a meeting and you're like, that was a waste of time, it's a waste of time because you didn't control the parts you could control.
wow. A really, really great way to put it there. That was a really fantastic response, Devin. So you talk about creating self-sustaining network effects. So what does that process look like in practice? And how do you engineer a system where your network begins to grow and generate value with less direct input from you over time?
Yeah, so you got to front load it on the early building of the relationship. You have to add value. So it's another one of our core principles is always add value. So early when I meet someone, I want to make sure that I make connections for them and I provide resources for them. And if I do those two things, skews the relationship where in their head they're going, man, I owe Devin, right? Or I owe whoever the person is because they've helped me. If we do that on the front end, again, without selling our product or service, but helping them open some doors, provide resources, listen and give them a wow moment or a thank you card or something that's memorable, then as we get to the nurture process, which is that email I shared, now every time we're checking in with them, there's this hint of like, that's right. Devin helped me. Devin opened doors for me. Devin did stuff for me. You know what? Let me reply to this email and ask him what I can do for him. And so what you're doing is it takes a little work on the front end to show value and add value. You can automate all of the nurture follow-up, right? So all of that's automated. It's all one-to-one emails, but it's all automated in our system. I don't send any of those emails. When the email comes back, those I do reply to because now I have a chance to figure out where to take the relationship. Hey, you just mentioned you're launching a new product or service. That's interesting. What are your challenges with that? Could I support that growth? Or again, whatever your product or service offering is in their response, you can look for alignment. And again, if you front loaded where they feel like they owe you, even if they're not a customer, you can reply with, you know, what I'm looking for is more podcasts, more stages, more events, more referral partners, more whatever. They're more inclined to reply and give you what you're asking for than you just trying to sell people and getting rid of them if they're not a client.
So there are some, or should I say most introverted people find it really hard to build real connections. So for an introverted person listening right now who genuinely wants to be better, who wants to, be able to build real connections with people, and, yeah, so what advice would you have someone like that on how to get things started and how to go out there, how to build meaningful connections?
Start with your hobbies. So, whatever is interesting to you, whether it's collectibles, video games, some sort of sport, bowling, whiskey, cigars, wine, whatever is interesting to you, find a way to network around that interest. So, let's use bowling. Maybe you like the sport of bowling, join a bowling league. In the bowling league, don't show up with your own team, show up with just you, get put on a team and meet a team every week. Every week you're bowling, you're going to meet 7 new people. I have a realtor friend, young kid. He was like, dude, I really like cigars. Great. Go to every cigar lounge 2 or 3 times a week, pick one and just show up and become a regular and get to know the people in the room. Or in his case, the Elks Club and a couple other event venues in town were doing whiskey and cigar tastings. Great. Go to that because you're going to enjoy the time anyways, right? At a minimum, you're going to have a good time. But you're putting yourself in a comfortable environment where it's easy to start conversations because you have something to talk about. Hey, what'd you think of that whiskey? What'd you think of that cigar? What'd you think of the thing? People often think that you can only do business networking at business networking events. And then you get stuck in these rooms with a bunch of strangers with nothing to talk about. And you find yourself either going to the bathroom to hide, standing by the food or drink, right? Or stuck at the check-in table because they're the friendliest people and you're just talking to them. Great. Those are all real challenges. Put yourself in a room where you're comfortable. So whatever your hobby is, if you like knitting, if you like reading, if you like whatever it is, put yourself in rooms full of that activity or that thing, and then figure out how to move those conversations to meetings. And this goes to another one of our core principles. There's value in every relationship. So you don't need to worry about, oh, this person's not an ideal prospect. Yeah, but you don't know who the person knows. You don't know what they did before. You don't know what other businesses they're plugged into. So it doesn't matter what the direct transactional relationship looks like. What matters is, can you meet people? And then can you nurture that into some sort of direct one-to-one meeting so you can go deeper and explore where you can add value to them, where they might be able to add value to you? That's the real foundation of networking, but do it around your hobbies, passions, and interests.
Very, very insightful and actionable. So, Devin, for a founder who is brilliant at their product but struggles with quote unquote the ask, so what is a simple, low friction script or framework from your system that they can use to start generating referrals without feeling too salesy?
I'll give you 2 answers for this. One is the sell behind the person in front of you technique. And so this is a great way to ask without asking. So if I'm sitting in front of, we'll just keep using Bob. If I'm sitting in front of Bob and Bob's a business coach and I've asked a bunch of questions in the meeting and at some point Bob says, Devin, what do you do? What I'm going to do is I'm going to answer with what I do in a way that it looks, smells, and feels exactly like the person sitting in front of me. So I would say, hey, Bob, you know what I do? I work with business coaches who help exactly whoever Bob helps do whatever Bob helps them do to scale their business in a predictable way. Because what I want to do is I want to let Bob know I can help you without saying, Bob, I can help you, right? I want to retell the story he just told me, because what happens is you trigger the ego. The ego shows up and goes, wait a second, Devin, like I just got done telling you that that's what I do. Like, would I be a client for you? And what happens is now they're asking, is your product or service a fit for me? And now we have a dialogue around it. Instead of you trying to hard sell them or position, you get to explain what you do in a way, again, that sells behind the person in front of you. So think about the person in front of you, and in your answers, answer in a way that defines that person. That's tip number one on how do we move it. Tip number two is shift the ask. Often, if someone asks, hey, Ezekiel, who can I connect you with? You often default to your ideal client. That's great. If that's all you've equipped me with in the meeting, what you're asking me to do is go into my network, narrow my network down to a few people that might need your product or service. Then you want me to introduce them, hoping it's the right time, they're qualified to buy, they have the right money, they have the right intent. There's so much friction with that. And so that's why people get let down, right? Oh, I told you everything I did. I told you exactly what I'm looking for, but you didn't refer anybody. Well, they didn't refer anyone because there's a lot of hurdles in a referral. What I could instead do is say, hey, I want to be mastermind host or community host or a bigger ask because we can partner and collaborate. And then you might look at your network and go, oh yeah, I know a few people like that. There's no friction because we're connecting to collaborate. So either sell behind the person in front of you or shift your ask to a referral partner or strategic partner. So it's easier for the other person to open doors for you than just trying to refer you direct clients.
All right, all right. So you have built the ACES community from an operations from an operational standpoint. What systems have you put in place to ensure that community members consistently make valuable connections for each other? And also, can you tell us about the ACES community, what it's about, why you built it, and
Yeah, so the community is built on 3 pillars. The first pillar is our Connection Blitz meetings, which is our virtual networking. I like to say it's networking without all the crap. So there's no roles, no responsibilities, no quotas. There's nothing you need to do other than show up and meet people. And so we built a meeting that's very comfortable. It's welcoming for everyone in all industries. And whether you're an extrovert, introvert, you're going to succeed. It's a very welcoming meeting. The second pillar is everything I teach is free and available. My masterclass, my email scripts, everything is available. And then the third pillar is expert interviews. So I bring in thought leaders across a wide variety of expertise to go really deep into what they do and share that value with you. All 3 of those pillars are inside of the group, and the group is totally free. The only upsell is if you want to attend more of the networking meetings, we have an opportunity for you to do that. And the way and reason why the group is amazing is we're adding 30 to 50 new members per week. And so every single week and every single meeting you're on, you're going to meet someone new. So this is not a group where you're going to get on the next meeting and see the same people. You're going to get on every meeting and there's always going to be a new face. Every time you log into the school community, there's going to be someone new you can connect with. And so it gives you an environment where if you need to meet new people and you want to expand your network, you really don't need to go anywhere else. Like we are building the network, you just have to plug into it.
yes, all right. So, looking at the future of professional networking, what role do you believe AI will play in scaling and systematizing relationship building? And what will remain irreplaceable, like, what will remain irreplaceably human?
Yeah, I think AI, and I've probably demoed, I don't know, 50 softwares this year, dabbling in some AI integration. I think it's going to make it easier for you to follow up. It's going to make it easier for you to connect and introduce people. It's going to make it easier for you to understand who's in your network. All of that is great. That's great information. I think the part that is not replaceable is this, is you and I having real conversations. And so our tagline is real people having real conversations, making real connections. And that's where I think you're never going to be able to replace that. You have to get on meetings. You have to have FaceTime, whether it's a group environment or one-to-one environment, because that gives you the chance to really get to know people, explore personality alignment, figure out where there might be other strategic opportunities and really find the leverage points. So use the tools and systems to gather better data to save you time to streamline. Yes, do all those things, but you're still going to need to show up and you're still going to need to build the relationship and get to know people. And I think people are craving community and relationships more now than ever because everything's become so virtual, everything's become so distant. There's so many funnels and automations, and we're all just an email and just a name. And when you can get rid of that and just have a good conversation, that's where I think you're going to move things forward. So use the tools and abuse them. There's some cool stuff out there. For sure, do all that, but make sure you don't miss the human to human connection part.
All right, all right. So for the data-driven professionals in our audience, what is one behavior or activity that has the highest ROI when it comes to expanding their networks and expanding their network that they might be overlooking?
Yeah, your current network. So, what I like to tell people is your best referral partner, your best client is already in your network. Often people spend so much time trying to find new relationships, go to new networking events, build new funnels, do new paid ads, do new lead gen. The majority of the time, you already are connected to enough people. The issue is you probably treat those people as prospects where you're trying to sell and position your service. If we take that off the table and we realize they're people with access to people, and we just go have conversations, all of a sudden, all of those people around you, whether it's 3 or 3,000, they can open doors for you strategically. Because again, we're not just focused on closing deals. And so something I like to plant in the seed of everyone, there's two statements. One is the quote, everybody wants to buy, no one wants to be sold. Yet so often sales and marketing is built around selling. So that's weird and feels misaligned, especially for an introvert. The other side of it is I want you to build your business without targeting clients. And that sounds so wrong, right? I want you to build your business without targeting clients because what I want you to do is go out there and have conversations with the people who already know you. They already like you and educate them on what doors they could open. Hey, I know you're not a client. I'm not here to sell you anything. I want to learn about what are you doing? Where are you at in your journey? What can I do to help? And again, back to where we started, add value to you. If I focus on that, at some point they're going to go, Devin, how can I help you? And then I can answer with, here's what I'm looking for. I want to be on more podcasts. I want to sell more of my book. I want this, that, or this. And now we can build this path forward together, again, in your current network.
Okay, all right. That was very insightful. Yeah, Devin, we have to ask, what actually is a cat cafe, and what did what did running that unique business teach you about creating memorable experiences that foster community and connection?
Cat Cafe is such an interesting business. So you pay by hour to hang out with the cats. It's great for people who can't have animals at home or their spouse is allergic or they have a living situation where they can't have them. So senior living, college students, things like that. And our business model, we had a coffee shop up front. We had the cat lounge where you pay by hour to hang out. And we had an event space upstairs. What's really interesting about the business is we launched the business in 45 days and then we sold it to an employee after 6 months. Both of those are very interesting statements because to launch a retail business in 45 days was a huge challenge and took a lot of creativity. And then to sell the business to an employee after 6 months meant we had amazing systems, a strong brand, all of these things in place where the employee could step in and run the company. And I also built that business with my spouse. So it wasn't just that we did those two things incredible. We actually did it together and we leveraged both of our strengths. And so that business was our way of proving one, we could do something cool together, but two, we could step into a business we knew very little about other than we'd been to a few ourselves. And we could use the knowledge and relationships we built to execute something amazing. And that's what we proved. That business is still around. She's rebranded. She launched a nonprofit. She's launching some other service offerings. She paid us off early. She's doing great. And so very unique business model. And we learned a whole lot in the process.
All right. So, what has been the most rewarding outcome you've witnessed from someone implementing your connection expansion?
I have a list of what if statements in my book. And so I'll highlight some of them because I can't give you one definitive answer, but one, I'll give you real time stuff. I had all these emails came in over the weekend. One came in and said, hey, Devin, thank you so much for that introduction to this person. I am fully using their system. It's redefined my whole company. One introduction. Another one came back and it was both parties actually emailed me almost at the same time and said, oh my gosh, we just got off a meeting together. That was such a good meeting. We're now exploring being on each other's podcast and an integrated offer. Again, one connection. Now it's turning into a partnership. I have a group chat going on right now where I introduce two parties. They decide to launch a business. They loop me back in, and now we're launching something together. I have someone else who just wrote me back and said that they just landed a new strategic partner. Another one that came in was a new career. And so those are all the things that have happened and all the things we've launched. And so that's what gets me most excited. And there's some examples of the connections for you.
So for you, in your work, which is about creating scalable, systematic frameworks from one of the most human-centric business activities. So what does the word innovation truly mean to you?
Yeah, I think innovation is going to enable what we do to be done easier. And so when I think innovation, I look at the space and I look at what are the barriers of entry. And so I'll share one thing that's happening. It's a device, right? We've all seen them. You can wear around your neck, and it's an AI audio recorder, right? So it records the conversations you're having. You might have bots in your virtual meetings that do the same thing, but they make them so you can do them in person. What's interesting is there's a couple of companies exploring how to take the voice recognition and the profiles attached to other people and build that data into your CRM real time. Here's their social links, here's their interests, here's the conversation, here's the notes. So now it takes networking and it eliminates the need for you to fully remember everything. And so for me, that's innovation, right? How do we take a
Mm.
challenge that exists in an environment and build a solution that makes it easier or eliminates a problem? And so that's one. I think as you asked the AI question earlier, I think there's a lot of really cool AI things happening with data scraping and relationship management, some of those things that again are all innovating how we communicate and interact with each other. So that's how innovation is going to impact my industry. And I'm excited to see it. Again, I don't want to lose this part because I think you need the human to human part, but there's some cool stuff happening.
All right. Really great perspective to see things from. So finally, Devin, for our listeners who are ready to move from chaotic networking to a strategic system, so you've built the ACES community, and you have a lot of fantastic frameworks they can learn from. So where is the best place for them to go to learn more about you, your work, what you do, and your community?
Yeah, so you can go to devinsizemore.com, DEVIN sizemore.com. On there, you can get a free copy of my book, which will give you all the systems. You can get information on the group. You'll see it in the main tab. And then there's a lot of testimonials and other helpful links on there. So if you go there, all my socials are connected. You can connect with me through there, poke around all the tabs. We have a whole recommended reading section as well. So just a lot of good info. So devinsizemore.com. And then you'll know how to connect with me from there.
Fantastic. It's been a really interesting and insightful conversation with you, sir. And I am totally excited to have you on the show today.
Thank you so much. It was great.